Facebook has made this kind of a nightmare a little bit back in the day here. So it used to be a lot easier to do lives, and now kind of isn't as easy. But I'm going to walk through a couple things here. Give me a second here. I'm going to just boot up Facebook Live because I'm old, and old people use Facebook. I'm old. All right. So I probably get this question more than anything is, what type of marketing should I do? I see this one commonplace, all this stuff. I want to back it up for half of a second here. There's a couple pieces that, you would want to have some basics of. And, some of my ad counterparts, they might kind of fight with me on some of this, but a lot of times people go right into like ads or a heavy website or SEO sometimes even. And the reality is that if you're not well known, if you don't have reviews, if you don't have kind of a base, sometimes ads and stuff like that can actually hurt you because they just don't know of you. But it's naturally easy to get into them because you're immediately getting in front of potential buyers. So there's like this weird dichotomy that happens. So what I did is I broke down the most common channels of marketing that we see for 60 to 80K thousand month shops, as well as, 125 to $500,000 a month shops. So I don't want to bore anyone. This might be a long one, but basically, roughly, if you look at this is a lead to conversion rate sheet. And what it means is the cost goes high, the lower this is, and your conversions are higher on the far right. And so I always tell people from a base level, if you can start working referrals and past customers, even if it's a one or two customers and you're just starting out, they should be tapped and talked to. You should treat them like gold. I think a lot of people here don't treat their customers like gold. And that's potentially even for my own business is that, we want people to be happy with the product and the service and ongoing. And we tap, our partners quite a bit and like, hey, anything else we can help you out with? We try and use Facebook and email. But really at the end of the goal is like referrals are always going to beat a website. They're going to have a higher conversion rate. It's not going to really cost you much to do at it. So a lot of times when guys come into us and they say, I'm going to fire up ads, I'm going to fire up website, I'm going to fire up SEO. I'm like, did you forget about the first 10 customers that have been working with you since day one? It's just something to think about. There's other pieces here, and you can kind of see this, that email marketing is very cheap to do. Facebook and Google ads tends to be a little bit more organic SEO, but you tend to have different conversion rates. And I think a lot of times people get really, really lost in that, well, if SEO and website converts a lot higher, I should just stick all my money in there. And the reality is attention is the number one thing that you need to have. You need to be kind of in their mind. And that's why a lot of times email marketing works really well for your past customers, is because you're just top of mind. I want you to kind of think about that for a second. When you think football, you're thinking of kind of your team that's local. You're thinking soda, you think of Coke. There's things, I understand the budgets are not unlimited, but typically 1 to 2 channels of marketing is not enough to probably hit certain goals. It's wild to me, and this is just kind of an editorial piece, is that a lot of some guys are freaking out about like business is slow. I got a whole lot of partners that are not slow, that are having some of their best years and months ever. But I think a lot of that has to do is because when people let off the gas, they were the first guys to stay on or advantageously go after the gas even more. And that is a big difference of when people start losing ground and where other companies start making up ground. They're grabbing more attention. They're grabbing more people off that. Stop it, E-Man. I see water coming at it. I see that comment. So the big thing here is when you're looking at marketing as a whole and starting to determine budgets, I'm going to walk you through a couple of those examples. So This is if you're looking at trying to get to 50, 60, 75, $80,000 months, this is a lot of times what we see. Okay. So this is not a blueprint. There's differences in everything. Understand that maybe SEO might not fit in your area and maybe ads might not fit in your area. This has two assumptions. One is that you have a customer base. The other assumption is that you also have a website. Okay. So there's two assumptions in there that you've got some stuff going on. So the big one here is you have typically of a shop that's doing around $65,000, $70,000 a month. They're usually spending between $2,000 and $5,000 a month on Google Ads. I broke this down even further for people because people always ask this, is that when you're doing ads, a lot of your budget should typically go to landing pages, no displayed pricing, form at the top. It is counterinductive to a website, right? Something to think about. I want to say this again. Don't try and make your website the landing page. I just talked to a guy 2 days ago. He's like, I want the forms at the top. I want to rip all the pricing off. I'm like, I understand that. But what you're doing is you're trying to make all the SEO work for you to get a conversation started, when a lot of times they're two completely different buyers. And you have to understand the way you shop today is maybe different than the way all your buyers are shopping. So if I was doing Google Ads, what I would do is I would run a 3/4 budget to landing pages, which have no pricing, have a form at the top, and it's trying to really equivalent some sort of value of what you do. I would run a quarter or less budget to the website, just to kind of get some retargeting, some remarketing, some numbers in. And this is a very successful operation right here to run budget. Okay. A lot of times we see guys are running local SEO optimization. So that is additional tracking and citations that we do on websites to get them to rank higher in the map pack. And probably the most slept on one that, if you haven't emailed your top 50 customers at least 6 times this year and haven't emailed the balance of them at least 12 times a year, I want you to understand that email newsletters on average at a $60,000 business, it equals around $5,000 a month that you get return. It's a very, very quick, easy piece. It actually scales higher as well. And if you can put these habits in of getting some of these marketing channels running, it actually becomes easier to scale as bigger. And you'll find out, and I have another slide here, but you'll actually find out that some of this stuff actually tailors down and tailors off. It's kind of wild how it all typically works. So the other one we see, and it's very market dependent. It really depends on your market, your area. I don't actually encourage SEO for absolutely everyone. I know we sell SEO, but in the reality of the matter is that SEO is just not a fit for everybody. It depends on your domain authority. It matters on your competition. It matters your location. So this can range wildly. But this conversion rate, going back to this, is very high, right? Up right here, converts really well, costs a little bit more, but compared to other pieces, it has a high ranking factor. And pieces like that. So social media posting and tagging customers, video content works really, really well. I think where people make the mistake with social media, if I'm being honest, is that they don't make their customers feel amazing. There's a guy, his name's Rolly Rolly. If you go take a look at him, he does a video of showing midway, almost where the car is completed. It's really a video for the customer, but he tags the customer and he puts it socially online. That's a great way to show people just how much you care, what little things you catch. I mean, man, if I was like a researcher of who's going to do the next service on my job of car, I would love that this guy is calling it out and he's like, we're going to take care of you. And he posts the video online. That is showing your care and your value. A lot of times people post finished cars, and I'm not really opposed to that. I'm just telling you, when you look at people who, let's say it's a 35-year-old cares about this car quite a bit, they want to know how much you care, right? They don't care that it's done. They want to see like some additional values. This is one that gets slept on a lot, is two events that are customer centric. Even if it's like a holiday thing, come get your gift, come get your discount, or a car event or cars and coffee, and you do it with another coffee shop and you get some blend there. I will say this is that this wakes up to the number two reality, which is you're more likely to spend $84 to get a new customer, but you're not willing to spend $9.20 to get them to come back again. On average, around 78% of customers after their first buy don't get contacted again. Wild to think about. When's the last time the restaurant reached out to you and said, come on back, get a steak? It's just never happened, right? And you do a great job, but I want you to kind of perceive that is that email marketing and centric marketing and giftology is a real thing. So much so that I highlighted it down here is that really what we see people get to is referral and client reactivation campaigns. So if you don't know what that means, that's basically you reach out to your customers, and you incentivize them. This is not meant to give you guys very, very specific pieces. This is just meant to give you kind of a general operation piece. In the 125 category, I highlighted what the big differences were. This one should actually be highlighted, and the budgets can change, right? I've seen guys spend Google ads on, $20,000 a month even. It just depends on your area. And like I said, this is not, I know everybody wants the blueprint, but this is kind of the common ones that we see fall out there. The biggest one is like once you're starting to get some legs and you get some revenue, a lot of times people will pull social media staff in-house, right? Adding that value, adding that piece. Giftology is heavily present in this scenario. I want people to see that if a $250,000 a month business is doing customer centric stuff as 40% of their campaign instead of reach, right? Reach is you reach out to more people that have not talked to you, and return is where you get more people to come back and reactivate. They're switching that up at that quarter month, 100,000 month level. But that's something you can institute today. That's something that we instituted, a long time ago. So hopefully this helps. I could have been babbling. Nobody could be watching for all I know, but hopefully that helps out. Happy to answer other questions you have as well. If you have any more, feel free to drop in a comment. I'm happy to go through it.